of, I believe, was the next coming of the franchise quarterback for the green and gold. Well, he's hurt. And the game was awful. They kept slipping on the field because it's a soccer field. Don't understand why they played in Brazil anyway. Actually, I do understand. Roger Goodell says he wants at least 16 international games played every season. That is insanity to me. But there's writing on the wall as to why that is. If I look at the other great sport, the other big sport, professional basketball is and has been for the last, my word, probably 30 years, maybe a little longer, an international sport. Sometimes it's players that play for the NBA with last names you can't even pronounce because they find these guys from all over the world. Remember, there was a guy named Yao Ming. He was a Chinese man. He was 37 feet tall. The NBA has always been an international sport. In fact, you have players here in the United States of America that will go and play internationally. A lot of women that play basketball, they may go play overseas, and sometimes they never come back. So basketball is an international sport. It just has more global appeal. Football, American football, is like uniquely American, specifically American. Now, there's a fan base in other countries. I come to find out that Mexico, of all the other countries, Mexico is the top international market for American football, second to Brazil, which great. But there's a reason why the NFL wants to be much more of an international brand. They tested like 370 former NFL players' brains. How they get the brains, I'm not sure, but they put a test on the brains. I don't know if these are dead NFL players or if they're alive NFL players, but they tested their brains. And of the 370 brains they tested, 360, 370 brains they tested, like 359 of them had this condition called CTE. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I think that's what the CTE stands for. It's basically permanent brain damage and brain trauma from repeated hits to the head. And if you've noticed, they've even changed the rules in the game of football. Now the kickoff is very different. The kickoff is it's weird. You can't move until the ball lands. If the ball lands in a certain place, then it's weird. But they're doing that to stop these full speed collisions, which is screwing up the brains of the NFL players. Yeah, every now and again you hear about NFL players doing really weird stuff, like, murdering people, and like a lot of them commit suicide. It's because of the CTE. Even Brett Favre said if he had sons, which he doesn't, he wouldn't let them play football. Brett Favre was in trouble for a little while because he took some Mississippi welfare money. I don't know why y'all got mad at that. That ain't our welfare money. I don't care what Brett Favre does in Mississippi, but whatever. But he said he would not let his sons play football. There's another statistic. If just 5% of American moms and dads, just 5% now, don't want their sons to play football, like pee-wee football, maybe they have middle school football or high school football, the NFL will be gone in a generation because of what we are learning about this traumatic brain injury that a lot of NFL players, past and present, are suffering from, called CTE. They even made a movie about it, and the NFL didn't want the publicity from the movie. And it's a real thing that damages the brains of these men that play football. And if a small percentage of families do not want their children to play football because of the potential risks, concussions are bad, apparently. They mess your head up, especially if you get a whole bunch of them over the course of however many years in which people play the game. But also the lifespan of an NFL player is not very long. These guys are usually done by the time they're in their early 30s. It's a very brutal game. So if a small percentage of parents here in America say, yeah, football is too dangerous, I don't want my son to get a concussion and get their brains rattled and then potentially may have permanent brain damage from CTE, the NFL will be gone in 30 years. Just a small percentage of parents saying that they don't want their children to play football will dissolve the NFL. So the NFL has to do what? Recruit and find new players who may not know as much about CTE because NFL football does not exist in their countries. Hence why they are now going to play more international games. They're going to try and recruit more professional football players that come from third world countries because they don't have the experiences in their country of many people getting the CTE. It is evil. It is sinister. But you do what you have to do to keep making that NFL money. These television deals sometimes with NFL teams are in the billions of dollars. And if American parents are discouraging their sons from playing football because of the dangers and the risk of head injury and brain trauma, then we have to find players from other countries. The NBA rather has always done it, but basketball has a much more natural international appeal. The reason why the NFL wants to now become much more international is they're going to have to recruit players from other places because there may not be as many American men that end up playing football at any level because of the high risk of injury. Even though they got new technology, they've changed the helmets, they've even changed the kickoff, doesn't matter. And as time goes on, we're going to find out that more NFL players probably had that traumatic brain injury. And I guess when you think about it, it's not worth it. The game is fantastic. I love football. I loved playing football. For the position that I played, I was not tall enough or big enough to play in college, but I really enjoyed the game and the camaraderie and the discipline and just the teamwork. It helped me in life. And so football is a fantastic metaphor for life. And you also can tell the people as we get older and we're adults, you can tell the people that played team sports and those that didn't. People that did not play team sports generally suck at life. Sorry, you guys, just a whole bunch you didn't learn about sacrificing yourself and your ego for the greater goal of a team. And it's not the same when you work on like a team at work. That's not the same. Playing organized sports where you have a responsibility and a job and you have to execute your job to the best of your ability, because if you don't, the entire team suffers. There's something that is learned in those situations of playing a team sport that become a permanent part of who you are, and it changes your outlook on life. Sometimes you have to be together in community, even though you have your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own opinions, your own way of how to do things. Sometimes that doesn't matter. If you are one part of a whole and you must organize and work as a fine-oiled machine, don't nobody care what you think. Nobody cares about how you want to be unique in this situation. Here's what your job is. Your job is to block the defender. Here's what your job is, receiver. Your job is to just get open. Here's what your job is, quarterback, to scan the field and make sure you're making a good throw. But if everybody is not working together in concert, the quarterback may get sacked if the line isn't blocking. If the receiver can't get open, that might be a coverage sack. Or if the quarterback is taking too long and not being specific about where he or maybe she wants to place the ball, they will get sacked. Your team will lose the game. Everybody has a role and a responsibility in order to participate in that success. That's why team sports are fantastic. And I'm very sad to see some team sports being eliminated from high school programs because these kids need them. They need them desperately. Because I see the product of those who didn't play team sports in America, and we get, well, essentially what we have now. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Black and Brown Runaround 5K is a diverse group dedicated to empowering others and overcoming obstacles. Their mission to bring unity to the Milwaukee's Black and Brown communities and support those in need. They partner with Lead to Change, a nonprofit that's changing lives by equipping young people with the tools they need to succeed in college, their careers, and the community, ensuring security and stability for all. Together, we can build a stronger, more united community. Black and Brown Runaround empowers everyone to be able to run the town.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 101.7 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I want to stress the importance of a positive mindset. Everything begins as a thought before it ever becomes an action. So it's extremely important to purposely place yourself in positive spaces to help shape and nurture those thoughts. I know you're probably thinking, okay, Telly, let's be realistic. Look, I get it. You may work with people with bad energy, or you may even be related to people who are negative by nature. In this journey called life, there will be many things that come your way that's out of your control. But what you can control is how you respond. Understand this. You have the right to either tap in or tap out of whatever energy that may come your way. And that's how you can control and protect your positive spaces. The mind is where it all starts. And if your thoughts are centered around positivity, you'll see how things begin to transform. You'll see a noticeable difference between things happening for you versus things always happening to you. You begin to grow through situations as opposed to just going through tough situations. Make it a priority to surround yourself with positive people and create those positive spaces and begin to experience the fruits of what a positive mindset can produce. Trust me, it takes work to creating these spaces, and you have to be intentional about it. And I'm committed to putting in the work because I'm living proof that it's well worth the peace a positive mindset brings.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Time is running out on the Brewers regular season. Hurry up and catch the crew battle the Diamondbacks September 20th through the 22nd for College Night and a Brewers Puppy Vest giveaway on the 21st. Get your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Programming note, the YouTube is working again, apparently. Thought we were. Well, we were suspended, and apparently we're unsuspended, so we got off of punishment. YouTube is fickle. So I used to broadcast during the pandemic before 1017 The Truth even existed. I was broadcasting from home. And if I did a show that talked about vaccines or about the pandemic, YouTube would review some of those programs and they would pull them down off of their platform because they have really specific guidelines about misinformation. And a lot of times the algorithms that are looking for or listening for content regarding vaccines and misinformation are a bit overzealous at times. I'm still getting emails right now from YouTube telling me that they are removing some of my YouTube content back from 2020 because of that, what they call vaccine misinformation. I never spread any misinformation about vaccines. The other thing about YouTube is they're very sensitive to music. And if you have music that is, Facebook is too, that's why people always put, oh, I don't have rights to the music, which I don't even know if somebody putting I don't have rights to the music in a Facebook post that has music in the background helps. It's just you can't play over like 45 seconds or a minute of music that's copyrighted because Facebook will take your mess down too. But YouTube is even more specific when it comes to using licensed music. That can get your YouTube channel banned, suspended, et cetera, because I've had that happen as well. But YouTube also has a lot of songs that you can choose from, these vast music libraries in every genre you can think of where this is music you can use and not have your streams either demonetized or pulled down off of the YouTube platform. So some of the songs that you may hear during my show, some of the instrumentals that sound incredibly unfamiliar. So those are carryover songs from when I was broadcasting on YouTube. And I think they call it either duty-free or royalty-free music that you can use in your streams and then not trigger the algorithm of YouTube to take your streams down because you're using copyrighted music. So they have a whole lot of music on YouTube. And I got a bunch of it actually I have a folder of the music that you hear between my segments. There's a folder of the songs that we play. Now, we add music, of course, to it. But a lot of the music that we add is usually popular music, things you guys may be more familiar with. Eventually, I don't know what they're going to do on other shows. I know that other shows, the music that they play on other shows here on 101.7 The Truth is like the backbone of some of their shows. Here, not really so much. I've never really been a music show. Every now and again, of course, we'll play a little piece of a song that may be familiar, or if there's a song that fits whatever the topic is, a popular song of today, of yesterday, we may play it. But I'm not a music show, because I also realize that people can get their music 1,000,001 different places, and y'all don't listen to Black Talk Radio for the music content. However, it can add a mood or a flavor, I suppose. It can enhance a show. But I'm kind of conservative when it comes to how Black Talk Radio needs to be exhibited. It has to be an exchange of information and of ideas. And it can be entertaining, but I don't know if that should be the goal of Black Talk Radio. Our people need information because we lack it. Or we have wrong information that we think is true, and we base our lives and our decisions off of information that it's false. It's wrong. It has been debunked. It is a myth. It is a legend, or it's just information like an old wives' tale that's been carried down through the years, and we still stick with this information. So that's why I have very little tolerance for people that call and say stuff like, oh, the earth is flat. Like, come on now. Black folks do not have the luxury to be ignorant. We don't. And we shouldn't want that luxury. We should want to know fact all of the time. Now, sometimes with facts, though, facts can hurt your feelings. Facts are not always rosy and positive and optimistic. And so we may not like the fact. And that happens quite a bit because I've said some things on a number of occasions that are 100% factual and accurate, and either y'all didn't like it, you didn't like the way it made you feel when I gave you these facts, or it goes counter and contrary to what you believed was true. None of the aforementioned matters. If it is true, it is true. You know what else I found out? I'll be finding out some stuff, y'all. And whenever I find it out, I'll run and tell y'all because I want you all to have the facts. The only way that we win, I don't know why we haven't figured this out yet. The only way we get ahead, the only way we advance as black people, as those descended from slaves, the only way that we get ahead is by leading when it comes to intellect and information. Remember, we're not producers. Black people don't make products and commodities that America needs to survive. We don't. We're not. America's not dependent on us for what we produce and what we sell to America. It's not. If anything, America just wants us to be consumers. There's a difference between the consumer and the producer. The consumer is always in a disadvantaged situation because you are buying and consuming what somebody else is selling and giving to you. So you're always subjected to their agenda. You are subjected to their profit margins. It's very dangerous being a consumer. Now, you can be an informed consumer, absolutely. I'm not saying that consumption is always bad, but the American economy is not based upon what we produce in this country and sell. It's produced, or the American economy, rather, is about what we buy. That's why we got so much debt. Bunch of y'all got credit card debt, mortgage debt, student loan debt, all sorts of debt, because our economy is based upon what we spend, not what we produce. And African Americans are we're stuck in this situation because we don't produce anything that that America needs for its survival. We don't make anything that America has to have to be competitive globally. We don't. What do we make? What do black-owned businesses sell? Cakes and pies and dinners. And not that I want to diminish my people, but America can survive without the things that we produce. And I say that because if we produce something, if black people were involved in a business or in an industry, that if America didn't have it, if America didn't have black people making this thing, or if they didn't have us monopolizing this industry that America needs, like America's life's blood has to come from this one thing that black people produce, not only would there be no more poverty, wouldn't be any more disparity, there would be no more racism, we would be protected. If you produce something that this country needs or finds value in, you will be protected. They will not let any harm come to you. Now, I don't know what that product or that service potentially could be, but whatever it is, we don't make it. We are either the labor that we sell as black people or what we purchase. Now, consumer spending power is also extremely important. It is. But where does that get you ultimately? If you were just known for your spending, ultimately, you're not going to be respected. You're just going to be a source of profit for somebody else. I've always been fascinated by marketing. How do you just create something out of nowhere and then tell people that they have to have it? How do you do that? How do you just come up with something? And maybe it's out of necessity. Like toilet paper. Probably not very hard to market toilet paper. You just need it available on the shelves, because y'all remember back during the pandemic and never thought I would see it a day in my life. The toilet paper shelves at the grocery store were empty. That was crazy, right? Lucky for me, I had a guy. You know how you just know a guy, somebody from the neighborhood that has everything that you need all of the time? So I called my guy and I was like, hey, man, there's no toilet paper left at the grocery store. He said, yeah, I know. I said, you're the guy, so do you have any toilet paper? Toilet paper, paper towels, all that stuff. Because our supply chain got all disrupted, you see. Which also shows us how dependent we are on products made in other countries. Because when other countries shut down their production and their distribution, Americans had bare shelves. So he said, yeah, come over to the house. I told you guys this story before. I went over to my guy's house, and he has a front closet. Most Wisconsin older homes have that front closet. You walk in the front door, there's your closet. That's where people put the jackets and put the shoes in that front closet. When I say that his front closet was stacked floor to ceiling, wall to wall with paper towel and toilet paper, I don't even know how he got all this stuff. But that's how I got all my toilet paper and my paper towels. So whenever I got low, I just went to his house and went in his front closet. However, I digress. So I've always been fascinated by how marketing works. Originally, my interest when I was in high school was marketing, because I did really good in my marketing classes. And I wanted to pursue marketing via higher education. When I went to college, I wanted to get a degree in marketing or business marketing or something, because it either made sense to me or I was fascinated by how on earth do you put together a strategy of pictures, of words, of ads, of commercials to make someone buy something. Because if you figure that out, you're going to get rich. Even if the product sucks. If I come up with a good enough marketing plan, oh my God, will you buy it? And then as I got to study marketing, it isn't really marketing, it's psychology. At the root of what they do to get you to buy things and consume things, including political candidates, is psychology. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to delve into how marketing has more influence on you than you think. You might think you make strong, independent choices. No, you don't. You are not making independent choices. You are being marketed to in a specific way that informs your choices. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Our YouTube is back up. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
for love of the game.
There's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
So you may have heard of Project 2025, a plan crafted by Trump and his MAGA loyalists to give Trump virtually unchecked political power and take Black America backwards. Here's how. Project 2025 strips away our voting rights protections, and it eliminates the Department of Education. It would siphon public school funding to private schools, leaving our kids behind. Planning on going to college? Good luck paying for it. Project 2025 cuts funding for federal student loans. Trump's Project 2025 would also make states monitor women's pregnancies, and it bans abortion. Project 2025 would also gut Obamacare, ripping away health care from millions. Simply put, Trump's Project 2025 would be devastating to Black America. But we can stop it by voting for Kamala Harris for president, because we are not going back.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for president.
Whether you're an artist playing accountant, a barista trying to be a bean counter, or a student just looking to get started, the UW Credit Union app lets you be free to be you, with free credit scores, free online bill pay, and the ability to send money to friends. Because with fewer fees, you can do more of what you love. UW Credit Union, here for every you. Join today at uwcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
1017 The Truth is the proud home of Marquette Hilltoppers football. Tune in Friday night as the Hilltoppers travel to take on conference foe, the undefeated Germantown Warhawks. The football action kicks off at 7 p.m. on 1017 The Truth. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices and sponsored by Capital Insurance Agency, Magic Productions, Annex Wealth Management, C.G. Schmidt, Leff's Lucky Town, Boyle Frederickson Intellectual Property Law, and Marquette University High School.
Connie's Compassionate Care is a Wisconsin Medicaid Badger Care Plus benefit program designed to help pregnant women retain the support and services needed to have a healthy baby, from medical appointments, transportation, and health education support. So, if you or anyone you know can benefit from our agency, call 414-550-7521 to speak with Lasagna. Connie's Compassionate Care has got you covered.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We experience the world through these interpretations that our brains make. And we might actually believe, if we are in a new experience, that we are forming our understanding of that experience at that moment. Not true. Not true at all. Our brain is going to look at anything that we may have experienced in the past that is remotely similar. We're always trying to connect new things that we see and new things that we experience to something else. It's like if you hear a song, it could be a new song. It sounds, oh, I think I've heard this before. Oh, that sounds familiar. Oh, did they sample that beat from somewhere else? We're always looking at new things in a context that is familiar to us. Because human beings really don't like new stuff. We want things to be familiar. We like comfortable habits and comfortable routines. Even though we may tell ourselves that we like new things, we like to find things that are new, but then compare them to what we know and what makes us feel comfortable. Just fascinating stuff. There could be a human being that could be of any race. They've never met a black person in their life. Never. Never talked to an African American. Never broken bread with, shook hands with, never worked with, never collaborated with a black person ever. And like that actually exists in this world, if not in this country. There are people that live in places where they are detached from other races. Do you know that there are probably places like Mosinee, Wisconsin, where Donald Trump just had his most recent rally, where there's not a threat of migrants coming and killing people? Because some of those folks that live in Mosinee that have never left Mosinee, Wisconsin, here's the thing. I don't even know where Mosinee, Wisconsin is. And I'm not ashamed to admit that because I don't care where it is. It does not matter where Mosinee, Wisconsin is. All I know is that Donald Trump had a rally there with the theme being, you're not going to have a country anymore because these migrants are coming to kill you. I don't make it a habit of listening to Donald Trump's speeches. Because why would I? But for some reason on Saturday when he was in Mosinee and I was flipping through the channels, and sometimes I just get tired of flipping through the channels, I stopped on, I think it was Newsmax, which is an ultra conservative media company, corporation, whatever, probably even more conservative than Fox News, if you can believe that. And they were broadcasting the Trump rally. And I was like, well, let me just have it on as background noise. And maybe because I don't listen to Trump speak very often, I was blown away by what he said. Now, I know that he's unhinged and he's got some really crazy ideas. And I know that his branding of conservatism indoctrinates people to hate other folks and to think other people are the problem. I have never heard anything so damn unhinged in my entire life. Like he is frightening because he very well may win. And I don't know what the outcome of the election is going to be. I know that I have to put a whole bunch of trust in other Americans that I don't know if I can trust. But the way he talks about these migrants, and a lot of folks don't have those kind of experiences with migrants, just like someone who's never met an African American. If you've never met a black person before in your life, if you go somewhere, I don't know, way up north where there just aren't any black people, it's probably more likely that you go to a town in up north Wisconsin where you haven't met or don't know any black people versus a migrant, because they're everywhere. I don't even know how the migrants get to some of the places they get to. I have no idea how they get there. But it's probably more likely you'll have interaction with somebody from Mexico or El Salvador, Guatemala, or Nicaragua, or Costa Rica, or somewhere in South America than you will an African American in one of these northern Wisconsin counties, because I've traveled a little bit in my life to northern Wisconsin counties, and there is no semblance of black culture. Not anywhere. It's very unusual because living in Milwaukee, black culture is essentially what this city is for the most part. Black culture and German architecture, which is interesting. But there's someone who has never met a black person a day in their life, never talked to a black person, never interacted with, communicated with at all in person, ever. But they hate black people. You got to wonder, why is that and how does that come to pass? Why do so many people who have never met someone of a different race, religion, or culture, there are probably people somewhere in northern Wisconsin that have never met a Semite in their life. They've never met a Jewish person ever, but for some reason they are an anti-Semite. But wait a minute, you've never even met a Jewish person before in your entire life. Why do you not like Jewish people? You've never met somebody from Puerto Rico. Why do you not like Puerto Rican people? Because how we feel about something that we've never had any interaction with is based upon our perceptions. What we think we know about these individuals, these cultures, these religions that we never had any firsthand experience with. But that's with everything. You cannot know someone and already hate them because the human brain forms these connections with stereotypes that were formed in the past. I'm going to talk more about that during hour 2. Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be right back.
Friday Night Lights officially lives here. 1017 The Truth is the proud home of Marquette University High School championship football. Be sure to tune in every Friday night at 7 p.m. as we bring you some of the best gridiron action in the area. Marquette Hilltoppers football is presented by Gruber Law Offices and sponsored by Capital Insurance Agency, Magic Productions, Annex Wealth Management, C.G. Schmidt, Left's Lucky Town, Boyle Frederickson Intellectual Property Law, and Marquette University High School.
Sometimes it takes a breakdown to have a breakthrough.
This is what Vin Baker Recovery stands for, but wants you, Truth Nation, to be a part of.
So join Jammin' with Juice live as we will be broadcasting live from a Vin Baker Recovery event on September 14th to help provide our community with access to mental health care and recovery support.
They provide services like medication-assisted treatment, outpatient care, and hub and spoke services with peer support.
So join Jammin' with Juice and the Truth Street team, sponsored by UW Credit Union, September 14th at the Vin Baker Recovery event.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Vice President Kamala Harris.
Talk with your listeners to remind them of their power and the importance of voting. And the folks in Milwaukee turned out for me and Joe Biden in 2020. You showed what was possible.
U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, are you a racist?
Absolutely not.
Is Donald Trump a racist?
Absolutely not. No.
And civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump.
Thank you all for speaking truth to power. That's the most important thing, because right now there are those in our community who would rather we just be quiet.
Right.
We have to disturb the peace now more than ever.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Sometimes life's challenges leave you feeling alone. We all need someone who understands and listens without judgment. That's what the 988 Wisconsin Lifeline is for. 988 is free and confidential. Trained counselors are ready to listen and provide support 24/7 for mental health and substance use concerns. You can contact 988 for yourself or for someone you know. Don't wait. Call or text 988 or chat online at 988wisconsin.org. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Brought to you by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Prostate cancer screening is a simple blood test. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. Men, it's your life. It's a simple blood test. Get it done. That's why it's so important to talk to your doctor about getting tested. If you want info on how to take action, the Prostate Cancer Foundation is here to help. Go to pcf.org to learn more about prostate cancer and how you can advocate for yourself. Remember, it's your life. And it's a simple blood test. Get it done.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. So I ended the previous hour talking about how you may not have an experience with a person of a specific ethnicity, race, culture, but you already have these preconceived notions about them that will guide everything that you think about this person. If you have been exposed to negative information about African Americans, and this can impact anybody. This actually impacts other black people. And if you have just been bombarded with negativity and stereotypical news stories, and social media, of course, can reinforce all of that. And let's say you've never met a black person from Oakland, California. And you might be a black person from Detroit, Michigan. But you meet that black person from Oakland, like, oh, I know about you Oakland black people, and all these things will come to mind about news clips you saw and articles that you read, or your family may have said things like, those black folks in Oakland are the worst. And then you finally meet somebody from Oakland, California, and you think you know them because you've heard so much about them. And all the things that you have heard about this black person from Oakland, California, what their lives are like and their culture, and they're just prone to violence, all these things, it simply has to be true, you are thinking. That works very, very well if we want to define a group of people. And I'm seeing it right now because African Americans, isn't this crazy? So when Barack Obama was running, pick anybody, any other presidential cycle where there was a lot of attention on that presidential election, because they used to say, and I guess they still say it, every election is the most important of our lifetime. And we've been saying that for a while, probably going back to 2000, 2004, 2008, most important election of our lifetime. How come for black folks, migrants weren't an issue? They've always been coming to this country. They have been coming to this country as long as the United States has bordered Mexico. But why now? Because somebody is constantly telling you that everything that is wrong, everything that is problematic in this country, it's their fault. Some of y'all have never even met a migrant. Maybe you have. Some of y'all probably have not. And even if you did, how in the hell would you even know? But doesn't it make you question every person that you see? I even find myself doing this now. I question anybody that I see with a heavy Hispanic accent. Wonder where they're from. You know how bad it is? And this is troubling to me. But if you market people the same way you market products, you can change people's perception. Do you guys remember, some of y'all probably don't because it's a long time ago, this thing called the Pepsi Challenge, which was a scam from the beginning. The Pepsi Challenge was, because Pepsi was losing market share to Coke, and they always have. Even though, let's be clear. Can we be clear about this? Pepsi tastes better. It does, and you know it does. It just tastes like, Pepsi tastes sexier. You know what I'm saying? Like, Pepsi is like a Saturday night in New York with a pocket full of money. Coca-Cola tastes like a night by yourself watching Netflix and eating a TV dinner. You know what I mean? Coca-Cola is just, blah. Pepsi's delicious. It tastes much better. But the Pepsi Challenge, and a lot of times when people did those Pepsi challenges, I remember when, as a little kid, you go to a grocery store and they have that big box, like, oh, do you want to take the Pepsi Challenge? It was all over television that, oh, Pepsi actually does taste better than Coke. No, it doesn't. Coke always won the Pepsi Challenge. Even when you gave people 2 servings of Pepsi, and you say to them, oh, the one on the left was actually Coke. But, oh, that was the one that tasted better. Coke always tasted better than Pepsi because of the way Coca-Cola would market itself. So even what we think tastes good is impacted by how we are marketed to. How we feel about human beings is impacted by how those human beings are sold to us as Americans. I was on the Facebooks yesterday, and I really don't want to be on the Facebooks as much because my phone, every Sunday morning, I get a text message from my phone. This is my phone texting me, okay? I didn't sign up for this. I don't know how it happened. I wish it would stop, but it doesn't. Every Sunday morning, my phone tells me, it adds up my screen time for the previous week. It tells me how long I've been on the internet. It tells me how long I've been on the Instagram. It tells me how long I've been on the Snappy Chat. It tells me how long I've been on the Facebooks. And I am on the Facebooks way too much. Way, way too much. So begrudgingly, I was on the Facebooks yesterday. And there's a guy. I've known him for a really, really long time. In fact, he has run for office more times than anyone that I currently know. More time. This one individual, and I'm going to say his name. Oh, I'm going to say it. He's run for office and lost. Now, he used to be an alderman, so I give him that. He was an alderman back in the early 2000s. And then he lost. And maybe that loss didn't sit well with him. And he's got a great job. He works with the Road Builders Union. And if you know anything about the road builders and the Road Builders Union in Wisconsin, they're a very strong private sector union. You also wonder why we don't have high-speed rail and a different kind of mass transit while we're so focused on cars and roads and paving roads and building more roads and expanding the highway. They expanded 94 some years ago, and you got to expand it, and you got to do the Marquette interchange. That's because the road builders have a tremendous amount of political influence, and they usually are a very conservative labor union. And because they are a conservative labor union, Republicans, when they are in office, they make sure that the road builders have plenty of contracts to build more roads. In fact, if we used our roads less, that would be less money, jobs, and opportunity for the road builders. So this person, his name is Angel Sanchez. He is as Latino as his name sounds. Angel Sanchez, but also a known conservative. Always has been for as long as I have known him. Angel Sanchez has been conservative. And there's a lot of Latino Hispanic folks that are conservative because a lot of them are deeply, deeply religious. Whatever, it's fine. I really couldn't care less about that. But when I saw something that he posted on the Facebook yesterday, because, I was on the Facebooks, of course, begrudgingly. He posts a lot of really weird stuff. He's one of those people that keeps me drawn to Facebook because he just says weird stuff and he posts really weird videos, and it's just very entertaining for me. I'm usually laughing at him and not with him, but whatever. Angel, he'll be okay. He's fine. And he said he posted an interaction that he had with somebody in the community. And he just posts like random stuff, but this one was just amazing to me. This is Angel Sanchez now, a man who is obviously of Latino descent, right? He looks the part. He's got the brown skin. He looks Mexican. You wouldn't confuse him with anybody else. And his name is Angel Sanchez. Come on. And he was talking to somebody, and he said to this person, give me a few reasons why I should or should not vote for, wait for it, Guatemala Harris. And he put this on Facebook. I was like, well, I don't even understand this. What the hell does this even mean? You know that the Republicans are trying to paint, I shouldn't say Republicans, Trumpers are trying to paint Kamala Harris as solely being responsible for people coming over here illegally crossing the border. In fact, they call her the border czar. First of all, that does not exist. That is not a position that exists. Joe Biden may have sent her down to the border to just see what it was like and to check it out, but at no point in time was she the border czar. But Republicans, because they don't have any policy points, they don't really have any issues they're running on, they have to blame the Democrats for something. So they're blaming, and let's manufacture this. They are marketing Kamala Harris being the border czar, and all of the things that are happening in this country that we don't like, we're blaming on the migrants, but we also got to blame Kamala Harris, the vice president and the Democratic nominee, for being the reason why we're having these problems with the migrants. And the Donald Trump supporters have done a very, very good job of that. Every other commercial you see talks about Kamala Harris being the border czar. But here's something that stuck with me about what Angel Sanchez, as Mexican as they come, his name is Angel Sanchez. But he's a Republican. He's also a proud Donald Trumper. In what parallel universe, except for one that is the parallel universe of America, where marketing is king, marketing can make a Mexican man refer to the black woman Democrat as Guatemala Harris? He is literally slighting his own people because he seems to be more Trump sycophant than he is Latino man named Angel Sanchez. That's the craziest thing I think I'd ever seen. A Mexican man labeling the black woman as Guatemala Harris because clearly she is responsible for all of these people coming here across the border. And I just had to sit with that one for a minute because I'm thinking to myself, Angel, when in the hell did you get over here? And how did your people get over? I got to just wonder about that. But for some reason, a Hispanic man blaming the black woman for other Hispanics being in the country, and he is Hispanic himself. If that's not fantastic marketing, I don't know what is. How you can get someone to defame their own ethnicity, culture, and heritage because of how Kamala Harris has been presented by the Trumpers to this country. That would be like me blaming African immigrants coming to this country and taking all of the jobs, right? And me then saying that Barack Obama was responsible, or he lapsed in his responsibilities in keeping these African immigrants, these African illegal migrants out of the country. Me being black and Barack Obama being certainly black enough, that's like me calling him Kenya Obama and defaming African people as an African American man myself. Isn't that just insanity? But then when I looked at how powerful the influence of Donald Trump and how their campaign has just put this dark cloud over this nation, if you can make a Latino man defame the black woman, and this was a negative thing. He was saying it as a negative, calling her Guatemala Harris. I'm thinking to myself, so hang on a second. What if she was the border czar? And what if she did prevent all of the migrants from Guatemala or Mexico or anywhere in Central America from coming over here? I'm thinking to myself, Angel, you wouldn't be here either. You literally would not be here if people from south of the border were prevented from coming to America. And the fact that it was a Latino man, I was just like, we are doomed. And so there's no rationalizing what the Trump campaign is doing and the things that they are manufacturing about people from south of the border, because someone who is literally south of the border hates people from south of the border and is now negatively like casting bad judgment on Kamala Harris because the Republicans told him, a Mexican man, that she's the border czar. I was just like, this is just, I don't even recognize this country anymore, but I know who does recognize the country. Al, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good. I want to say good morning to everybody. One thing you have to understand when it comes to some of those who got the skin color and hair, and this is why mental sickness is so real, a lot of them white Republicans, all you got to do is give them 1% and make them feel they agree with them, and then they will be on board. Because when you look at him, he said, well, let's just make him feel like he's with us. And so now he will sit here and say those things. And a lot of times when they have that skin color and hair, they adopt their ideology because they feel like they want them. And the same with some black people. And I don't know why they're doing it, because they don't have the skin color and hair. But most of them, when they do that, they either twist their mouth when they talk, they wear them funny clothes or them funny-looking walks, or they'll try to think just like them. And I love my black people, but they should not be talking about no migrants. Because truth be told, we can't even come together to keep a neighborhood clean. Prime example, you tell them about the uncontrollable kids that's all up down the streets at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning in garbage, they'll say, shh, that's in the house. But then when it comes to some migrants, they want to stand on the they want to stand on the red wagon wheel with the Republicans and agree with them. But then when they look out their own window, it's not the migrants. Sometimes it's their own people. Just like with these schools being shoot up. It's not the migrants. It's those parents that's buying these kids these AR-15s at 12, 13, 14 years old. Rather focus them on being a child, they want to focus on raising them to think that the world is against them. But sometimes when it comes to that psychological or mental warfare, when it comes to bull sugar, honey iced tea, a lot of people want to get on board. So I just had to share that information. It's not the migrants. It's those people who's raising their kids and buying them AR-15s. I have migrants in my neighborhood. I never had to pick up a Pamper, a box of chicken bones, Ice House, Milwaukee's Beef, Steel Reserve, Corba, VSOP, or Tonka Gin 2 for $5 Amsterdam at your neighborhood liquor store. So we just need to look at it for what it is, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get black people to go against other people, because they know if black people go against them, they don't have to worry about going against their stupidity. So I'm glad you shared this information, and I'm going to text you something, too, about how they're trying to play black people against this. And another thing, Mosini, there might be a couple of black men out there, but they mess with the white women. because Mosinee is not too far from Wausau, and a lot of those black farmers be down in Wausau at Schofield, at Granddaddy's, buying all that black cat, then they go back home to their farmer wife. So they just try to push all these narratives, but everything they talk about, they usually have in their bed, and everything that they married to, they don't want, but they go cheat on them with the people up in Wausau or up there near Schofield. And if they ain't up in Wausau, sometimes they go down by Baraboo. But there is black people up there. But majority of the black men, they mess with the white women, but the white farmers go cheat on their wives with the black women. And some of those farmers is taking care of the black women with their farmer money while their wife's sitting at home milking the cows and making the food from scratch. All right, y'all have yourself a good day. And I'm gonna text you something on X, which will be good for your show. Bye-bye. Happy Monday.
Thanks, Al. Why does Al have such shocking detail about certain things, and he is 100% right? The number of African-American exotic dancers that go work at clubs up north will blow your mind. African-American women that work at exotic dance clubs in Milwaukee do not make any money because they are ubiquitous here. But when they go up north, they are rare, they are a novelty, and they are the object of desires and of fetish. Al is 187% right. The other thing that I forgot about is Wausau has, I think there's like a military base, like an Army Reserve base up there, which does station a number of African-American men. So I think the majority of the military is like close to 50%, maybe just over 50% is either black and Hispanic. And so whenever you have military bases, even if you have them in small towns in majority white states, there'll still be a disproportionate number of African Americans. But yeah, I totally forgot about that fact that a lot of black women do not, they'll dance in the city, but they'll go up north. Like when it's deer hunting season or when it's ice fishing season, a lot of African American women will travel up north to dance at those clubs up there because they are, they're more exotic and they can make a lot more money than the traditional women that live up there. So let's take a break, come back, and try and get back on track, talking about how marketing can make people hate things they're not even supposed to hate. They can make you hate things you have zero experience with, and Trump is perfecting that. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM will be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join the Truth Street team sponsored by UW Credit Union Saturday, September 14th for the Black and Brown Run Around 5K at Veterans Park in partnership with Lead to Change. The Black and Brown Run Around welcomes all runners, walkers, and families to enjoy this incredible community event at the lakefront. They will have food, entertainment, and an opportunity to support and uplift Black and Brown business in the greater Milwaukee area. So mark your calendars and join us on Saturday, September 14th for the Black and Brown Run Around 5K at Veterans Park in downtown Milwaukee on the lakefront.
The Empowerment Small Business Loan Program, we're talking about up to $5 million, which for small business owners, we need that. That's like payroll, that's resources. So can you just let us know what is the program and why is this lending program so important to Old National Bank?
Years ago, our CEO, Jim Ryan, this program is his brainchild. He was working with Roland Shelton, who you know, Denise, out of Evansville, and they identified that African-American business owners, Hispanic business owners, Native American business owners, as well as women business owners had a difficult time in obtaining financing from the traditional credit partners. And so we went out, created a program, launched it last year in 2023. And so far last year, we have helped over 100 successful minority and women-owned businesses with about $25 million in loans. We've already started this year with almost $8 million in approvals, again, geared toward minority business owners and women business owners that normally had difficulties in obtaining traditional credit finance.
At Milwaukee College Prep, they believe that every child deserves a chance to reach their full potential. Unfortunately, in Milwaukee, this is not always the case. Research shows the educational opportunity gap between white and black students is twice the national average. This is why Milwaukee College Prep is committed to eliminating this gap. In fact, MCP scholars tested advanced or proficient at a rate nearly 8 times higher than the other predominantly black public schools in Milwaukee. Provide your student with the best educational opportunity by visiting MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com. College bound, character strong.
Experience, knowledge, results.
That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
He was the entrepreneur. He was an icon.
Talking about how marketing can like totally change, shouldn't even say change, create a perception of something. A human being can have no real world experience with something, and you would think that they would be open-minded to it if they've never experienced it before. But we can go into new experiences with preconceived notions and stereotypes instead of truly being open. Because media bombards us, our communities bombard us a lot of times with negative stereotypes about people and races and cultures. And even though we've never met somebody of that race, that ethnicity, and that culture, we may already hate them because the brain is always going to revert to what is familiar. Or I don't know any black people, but what have I heard about black people? Because what I've heard and what I've been told about black people and the images that I've seen of black people on the news and what I hear in music and what I see in the movies is going to inform how I feel about black people, even though I may have never met one. Those of you who are of African descent, and you could be from Africa directly, have you ever had this experience happen to you? Now, I'm going to do my best to explain it in detail, not like Al level of detail, but in a Sherwin Hughes style of detail. Have you ever so impressed a white person in maybe what you do for a living? It could be your level of education. It could be how articulate you are, or just your overall presentation. Have you ever had a white person say to you, like, "Oh my God, you're different. You're not like the others. Wow, there's something about you. Wow, and they take like an unusual liking to you because you have just defied every expectation that they had of black people." Have you ever had that happen before? I know that I have. Wow, Sherwin. They want to know more about me. Like, where did you come from? How can a black person like you even exist? Because I thought you all were single parents and welfare recipients and living in the ghetto and just living in squalor, and you're all gang members and you're all on probation or parole. How are you different than them? Because they have these preconceived notions of us that inform them every time they see a black person. Or if they meet a black person like me or like some of you, we are very unusual exceptions to the rule. Where black people like me, black people like us, the black folks that listen to this show, we are the rule and not the exception. Do you know that there are more black men in college than there are in prison? And that information right there probably shocked a lot of black people, but you would think it was totally the opposite. Do you know that the majority of black men over the age of 30 don't have any children? Did you know that? 64% of black men over the age of 30 have no kids. You never would have guessed that one, would you? They even bombard us as black people with negative stereotypes and negative imagery of our own people. And sometimes we are apt to believe it. And does not always create or continue to exacerbate a division that exists within the black community. Because you can bombard black people with so many negative images of themselves that they will begin to not only hate other black people, that we will have our own kind of self-hate. This is from Branding Magazine. Neuroscience has shown us that we experience the world as a whole through our brains. It is important to understand that the brain is not an objective reader of the events and objects that shape the world, but interprets them and gives them meaning. The senses capture what is happening around us or happening to us, but it is our brain that translates it and gives it meaning. It is mistakenly thought that we experience with our bodies, that our emotions or traumas within us and surface from time to time, but in reality, no, it's all in our brains. Another misconception is that we react to things that are presented to us in the world. It is believed that when we see something, for example, we evaluate it and make a thoughtful decision, or we make an impulsive one. Even though we experience and feel that way, that's not how our brain actually works. Our brain doesn't react. Our brain predicts, and it predicts based on past experiences. These past experiences may have their own formation in which they have acquired information. We have received this information from a variety of sources, from videos, movies, books, articles, social media, culture, and more. When we're in conditions we can't predict very well, our past experiences do not have to be identical to our present experience. They just have to be similar enough so our brain can do something called conceptual combination. It can take bits and pieces from the past and combine them in new ways, and that's how we can experience something completely novel that we've never experienced before. The experiences we have with a brand shape the way our brain will predict the new ones and will determine our expectations and therefore how we'll live them. So when it's said that branding or the way a product, or it could be a person, a culture, and ethnicity is presented, changes the taste in that product, it is not exaggerated or speculative expression. It is really what happens. The Pepsi Challenge is one of the most emblematic cases that show this. In the test comparing brands, Coca-Cola always performed better even when Pepsi was served in both glasses. Another interesting example is described by Malcolm Gladwell in his book Blank, in which David Maston and Daryl Rhea, directors of the consulting firm founded by Louis Cheskin, tell him that they had done tests in different versions of 7-Up soda. And they found that when they added just 15% more yellow to the green on the bottle, people said the taste experience was much more lime or lemon, and then people got upset. The people said, quote, "Why are you changing the flavor of my 7-Up? Don't do a Coke on me," they said. It was exactly the same product, but that 15% yellow completely changed how it tasted. So I'm going to pause right there. I'm going to give you another example of how things are branded to us and marketed to us. It could be a product. It could be Coca-Cola. It could be Pepsi. It could be a person. It could be a political candidate. Completely changes our reality. Oh, I got a good example for you. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
1017 The Truth is the proud home of Marquette Hilltoppers football. Tune in Friday night as the Hilltoppers travel to take on conference foe, the undefeated Germantown Warhawks. The football action kicks off at 7 p.m. on 1017 The Truth. Marquette University High School football is presented by Gruber Law Offices and sponsored by Capital Insurance Agency, Magic Productions, Annex Wealth Management, C.G. Schmidt, Left's Lucky Town, Boyle Frederickson Intellectual Property Law, and Marquette University High School.
More than 6 million kids in the U.S. have ADHD, and many aren't getting the support they need. At understood.org, we can help. Sometimes in class, the only thing your child can focus on are the thoughts racing through their head.
Why am I always falling behind?
Why do I feel so alone? So different.
Your child is looking to you for answers. But as a parent, you probably have a lot of questions too. What should I do next? Where do I even start? At understood.org, we provide parents with the resources they need to help kids with ADHD thrive. Your child wants to thrive. Be the reason they do. Visit understood.org/the reason to get started.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Talking about how something is presented to you. It could be a person, it could be a culture, it could be an ethnicity, it could be a product, it could be Coca-Cola, it could be Pepsi, could be 7-Up, even though the 7-Up tastes the same. If you just change the packaging of the 7-Up, if you add a little bit more yellow to the color of the bottle or the can of 7-Up, people will literally report that it tastes much more like lemon, and they won't like you messing with the flavor of their 7-Up. Branding impacts human beings way more than like our own independent thinking. And Donald Trump has done this. And I gave an example of how Angel Sanchez posted on Facebook that he's calling Kamala Harris Guatemala Harris because, you know, Kamala Harris, the quote unquote border czar, totally made up title, is the reason why these migrants are flooding this country. That was literally something that was posted by a man who is Mexican, but also a Republican, also a Trumper. It's almost like his political affiliation is superseding his own heritage. But that's how important marketing is. Here's another example of that. It's not news that tequila is near the top of U.S. spirit sales, outselling even whiskey, American whiskey that is, and it is just behind vodka and is set to overtake vodka as the number one consumed spirit in America. Last year, tequila sales totaled 31.6 million cases, a rise of 5.7% over the year 2022. I've made this clear 1,000,001 times, and I have told you guys about this more times than I can count. And every now and again, we'll talk about, drinking, because it's a thing that people do sometimes. It's very common in Wisconsin. But I've made it very, very clear that I think tequila is nauseatingly disgusting. It's gross. It's made from a damn cactus. The flavor is pungent. It's offensive. It's even the way it smells. It's just, I don't like the way it tastes. And when I say this, the number of people that get more than offended, they get personally attacked. In fact, there's a guy, God bless Vincent. Vincent is the one that came up with the term. You know how we call bonnets slave caps? Vincent is the one that originally coined that term, I don't know how many years ago. And so now when we refer to people that wear bonnets, we call them slave caps. Well, that's a guy named Vincent. And he was very offended and took personally. This was some years ago where I said that I just did not like the taste of tequila. He said, Sherwin, I'm going to get you a bottle of tequila that is so good, it's so delicious, you will change your idea and your perception of tequila. The bottle of, it was a year, a 1939, 1950. That's the name of the tequila brand, 1941, 1942, I think is the name. It's a very fancy bottle. And he brought it up here. It was in like a presentation case. In fact, he gave me 2 bottles of 1942. One was a Reposado, and what's the other kind? You got Blanco, Reposado, Desperado, tomato, whatever kind of different flavors of tequila that they have. So he brought 2 bottles, very expensive bottles. Zach, one of our esteemed producers here at 1017 The Truth, is in fact a tequila fan. And so when Zach saw that Vince brought these 2 bottles of tequila, Zach's like, oh my God, those are really good brands of tequila. Oh, they're so good. So I gave Zach one of them because I know that Zach would enjoy it. Because I know that even if you give me the best tequila ever made, it could be tequila that came from the very bosom of Mary herself, I will find it disgusting and repulsive. There is no such thing as good tequila. And I wonder, like, how on God's green earth, it's really been in the last 20 years that tequila has become so incredibly popular. I think T-Pain had a song where they're talking about Patron, and now you're hearing there's so many references, or at least there has been in hip-hop music right around the time that tequila became, like, it's been growing like 10% every single year, but in a very specific period of time since the early 2000s. And I'm noticing the amount of African Americans in particular, because we are particularly susceptible to alcohol marketing. Why do you think black people have a preference toward cognac, Remy Martin, Hennessy in particular? I think is a favorite. Again, Hennessy is disgusting to me. It tastes like melted pennies, bad decisions, and several months in jail. If you could bottle those experiences I just named, I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I know some of y'all love Hennessy. You swear by it. It's delicious. It's wonderful. But there's a history of why African Americans have a preference toward cognac, with Hennessy being, I think, the top selection. Remy is up there, too, but there's a reason why. During the 1950s, cognac brands wanted to show support to black media and to black print publications. So they would advertise in Ebony and Jet magazine almost exclusively because they wanted to give advertising dollars and revenue to media publications for the African American community, because that is where we got a lot of our information about us, about our communities, and about how to progress in a very mean-spirited America. We would read those magazines, Ebony magazine, Jet magazines. And so Hennessy, Remy Martin, and other cognac brands would advertise almost exclusively in those magazines, overexposing African American readers to those brands. And so they have become cultural because they were marketed to us. Whiskey is American. Uncle Nearest was a slave man that taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey. Can you believe that? The Tennessee Jack Daniels, who was a real person, didn't even know how to make whiskey. He had to learn how to make it from a slave. I'm not sure if you get more American than that. But tequila is now set to be the number one spirit, even overtaking vodka. I think whiskey is now third, vodka is second. Vodka is second because of its versatility. Good vodka shouldn't taste like much of anything, even though if you drink vodka straight, it tastes like rubbing alcohol, which, again, is disgusting. But tequila has just made this incredible comeback in the last 20 years, almost out of nowhere. There are people that order a lemon drop martini with tequila in it. I can't think of anything more vile. I'll tell you what, if all alcohol tasted like tequila, I would just drink tap water for the rest of my life. That is how bad I think it is. And so I've just been fascinated by the rise of tequila and how it has just like infiltrated, especially our culture, like hip hop culture. Well, there's a reason for it. Remember earlier I was saying, really for the last damn near hour, how things are marketed toward us can change the perception, positive or negative. And if tequila, Hennessy, cognacs are marketed to us, we will prefer them. In fact, our brains will make us like the taste of these things if they are presented to us in a particular way. You know, because a lot of us think that, oh, no, we make our own unique decisions about the things that we consume, whether it be our political candidates, whether it be the clothes that we wear, even the jewelry that we buy. No, we're making these decisions. Well, a lot of times those decisions were created by those who are trying to get us to buy these products. Tequila has grown at about 7 to 10% every single year, to where it wasn't as common. Like in Mexico, yeah, because they grow it. They grow the agave there. But why is it becoming so incredibly popular, and why, like, the references to tequila of any sort, of any brand, have just been profound, especially in hip-hop culture? I think some of you guys are familiar with a brand called Casamigos. Like, people swear by it. Oh my God, it's such incredible tequila. And if somebody goes to a bar or a restaurant or a nightclub and they want to get some tequila, oh, do you have Casamigos? I've had Casamigos before. It is dishwater. Of the tequilas that I have tried, because people are they're so obsessed with tequila that they're trying to make me obsessed with it too, but they never will be. I'll never be obsessed with tequila because I just find it disgusting. And I was never marketed to like they were. And that's why they like tequila so much. I find it repulsive. Casamigos is it's awful. Well, there's a reason why tequila has been marketed so heavily. And there's a reason why it has infiltrated hip-hop culture. Like, there's a lot of, like, alcohol references in hip-hop culture, but tequila has really been overwhelming. And you know why that is? Agave doesn't need a lot of water to grow. It's a cactus. In places like Mexico and in California, because of, listen to me and listen to me good now, this is why you like tequila. It's not because it tastes good. It's because it has been marketed to you because of climate change. Droughts are becoming more common, especially in the last couple of decades. You guys know, like, the last 10 summers that we've had on record in human history have been the hottest summers. So droughts are common. You guys remember last year when we had, it smelled like smoke everywhere in Milwaukee because of the wildfires that were burning in Canada? So droughts are actually very, very common as our climate is changing, and I do believe it is for man-made reasons. You don't have to take my word for it. Science will tell you. And because there will be more droughts in the future, the agave plant is one that is worth cultivating, because if there is less rain in California and Southern California and northern and central and southern Mexico, where agave is grown, it is going to be a much easier plant to cultivate when those areas experience drought. And because the climate has been changing and because there has been so much more drought over the last 20 years, they're like, we need to start marketing tequila because other spirits that require other grains as a part of their production will be harder to come by. Tequila is actually disgusting, but the agave in which tequila is made from can be grown in drought conditions, so they have created its popularity artificially, and now people swear by it. That is the power of branding. So whatever music or publications that have been forcing tequila really in the last 20 years, which is almost a one-to-one correlation with climate change and with more droughts in California, Southern California, Northern Mexico, Central Mexico, and Southern Mexico. I have not been exposed to that enough to inform my taste for tequila, because it tastes disgusting. What you like about tequila, especially that dishwater swill Casamigos, is because I'd imagine some of these hip-hop artists and moguls have been paid. So first of all, George Clooney is the marketing genius behind Casamigos. I bet you George Clooney himself probably doesn't even drink Casamigos. Just like John Broderson. You guys know who John Broderson is. He's the one that brought Popeye's chicken to Milwaukee. Made it abundantly clear his children have never eaten Popeye's chicken. because his chicken, his Popeye's chicken, is for us and marketed to us, not to him and his children. Something to think about. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, the 2024 presidential election is 2 months away, and we want you to get out and vote for who you believe should be the next president of the United States. To help you make an informed decision on our country's next leader, we will be broadcasting the presidential debate on Tuesday, September 10th, starting at 8 p.m. Again, that is the presidential debate between Madam Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump on Tuesday, September 10th at 8 p.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
What distinguishes Old National Bank from other lenders in helping people buy their first home and furthering their small businesses?
One thing that really makes us stand out is our grants. We have 2 really big grants right now specifically for first-time home buyers buying in Milwaukee County. The first one is for $15,000. They have to be buying within Milwaukee County and reach certain income limits. And then the second one is for $20,000, and that is through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indiana. We're headquartered in Indiana, as you know, Denise. So that is a second grant, and that is really the highest, most robust grant program throughout the entire southeastern Wisconsin area. So it's it's up to $35,000 essentially that a person could be receiving for their first home. If you are in a position that you're looking to buy your first home throughout Milwaukee County, please give me a call. Please contact me. I'm more than happy to help everybody that I can.
And what's your number, Anna?
Sure.
How can they reach you?
414-978-0283.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Big players show up in big games. Touchdown! Donald Driver and Cousins Subs are no different. With the football season upon us, Double D and Cousins are teaming up to offer 80-cent delivery this Saturday through Sunday on any order of $30 or more. Touchdown! Simply order your favorite subs and sides online or on Cousins mobile app, and we'll deliver them to you. And don't forget, we now offer Apple and Google Pay. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
If you are an African American or Hispanic adult with type 2 diabetes, the University of Wisconsin needs your help to participate in Enrich, a diabetes research study which may involve working with a pharmacist and or a community health worker. Most discussions will be held over the phone. All participants will receive compensation. For more information, call Delicia now at 414-550-1016. That's 414-550-1016. And ask Delicia about Enrich.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The articles are endless. In 2022, celebrity tequila brands grew at 40%, which is 3 times the category growth rate of 13%. Last year, the figures were 16% for celebrity tequilas, which is faster than any other category of alcohol as a whole. From the Washington Post, how celebrity tequilas are changing the very nature of tequila. This one is another website here, the rise of celebrity tequila brands and the effect on tequila sales. There we go. California farmers turning to agave amid drought conditions and climate change. Most of the United States, fruits and nuts like avocados and almonds come from California. But scientists say human-caused climate change means more extreme heat and intensifying periods of drought for the state. That has led to some farmers to seek less thirsty crops like agave. The succulent has long been grown in Mexico and is the key ingredient in making tequila and mezcal. Agave, though, is a crop is a new idea for the United States. In California, it's more often seen as part of decorative landscaping, but that's changing. Juan Rodriguez is among dozens of farmers who see the potential of this resilient plant. During the day, he works as a roofer, something he has done most of his life, but in the evenings and on weekends, he works with his wife, Cecilia Rodriguez, and cousin Orlando Flores on cultivating the 2-acre field in his Vacaville property near Sacramento, California. That's where he planted his agave in neat rows a couple of years ago. While the plants are not mature yet, they've grown enough that their pointed, outstretched leaves can brush his hip when he walks between the rows to check on his plants. It's a familiar plant for Rodriguez. He grew up in a small town in Jalisco, Mexico, where agave is everywhere. Generations of his family have cultivated the crop. He'd imagined working with it himself one day, but after he moved to the United States at 16, he thought that the opportunity was behind him. We came here, and there wasn't any of this, Rodriguez says, of growing agave. We didn't think that it would work here. But a trip to Mexico with his wife a couple of years ago to visit a family inspired the couple. When we came back and started, we wanted more information. That's why we started. That's when I started to look around, says Cecilia Rodriguez. And so this, what I'm reading is a translation because they don't speak any English, Cecilia and her husband, what's his name? The Rodriguez family. So the translation is kind of off in the article. Rodriguez's 2-acre agave farm is possible in part because California's climate. The United States Department of Agriculture calls California the most agriculturally productive state in the country. In the past year, though, the state has seen some of its mainstay crops struggle amid historic drought conditions, and those drought conditions are expected to get worse. Because of climate change and the likelihood of drought in California, and this is not new, but the change in climate creating more droughts, not just in California, but in Mexico, has caused those farmers and those involved in agriculture to look for crops that need less water. Agave, which is the main ingredient in tequila, doesn't need a lot of water. So if that is a crop that we can grow to make money, and it's going to be responsive to climate change and increased drought conditions, well, let's begin to market tequila so it becomes the most sought after, the most desired alcoholic spirit above American whiskey and even above vodka. That is genius. If I have the information and knowing that the American climate is going to change and some of the crops that we are cultivating right now simply won't make it as the climate continues to change, because we're not going to argue about climate change. You can't look at today's weather and be like, oh, climate change isn't real. Or you can't say, oh, it still snows, the earth isn't getting hotter. That's not exactly how it works. But if somebody says, you know what, 20 or 30 years from now, we're simply going to get less rain and we've got to redo our whole thought process on agriculture. What are some crops that will do well in a new climate America? How about a cactus? Yeah, we can't really market a cactus. But what about the specific kind of cactus that you use to make tequila? Genius. Well, let's start promoting it. Let's get a whole bunch of celebrities. Let's get a whole bunch of other notable people and have their own tequila brands. And let's influence hip-hop music listeners by talking about Patron and talking about Casamigos and talking about... Have y'all just noticed that? And I've been listening to hip-hop. Hip-hop is literally the same age as I am. I cannot ever recall more alcoholic references to one particular spirit than I can tequila in the last 20 years, especially since climate change has become a very, very real thing. That being said, the influence of these different tequila brands in hip-hop music is probably lost on me because my taste in hip-hop might be a little bit more mature than the last 20 years where there's been heavy tequila marketing. I still prefer vodka. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
Join the Truth Street team sponsored by UW Credit Union Saturday, September 14th for the Black and Brown Run Around 5K at Veterans Park in partnership with Lead to Change. The Black and Brown Run Around welcomes all runners, walkers, and families to enjoy this incredible community event at the lakefront. They will have food, entertainment, and an opportunity to support and uplift Black and Brown business in the greater Milwaukee area. So mark your calendars and join us on Saturday, September 14th for the Black and Brown Run Around 5K at Veterans Park in downtown Milwaukee on the lakefront.
For love of the game.
There's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Buck stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
Over the past 20 years, Wisconsin has seen a huge increase in reported elder abuse cases. Elder abuse is the verbal, physical, emotional, sexual, or financial abuse of a senior citizen. It can also be the intentional or unintentional neglect of an older person. Wisconsin's population of seniors 65 and older is projected to grow significantly in the coming decades. That's why we all share the responsibility to help protect our seniors by recognizing and reporting any signs of elder abuse. If you believe that elder abuse has been inflicted upon yourself or someone you know, please report it. Call the Wisconsin Elder Abuse Hotline toll-free at 1-833-586-0107 or visit reportelderabuswi.org. Respect our elders. Report abuse. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Justice.
This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $120,000 with 100% funding by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Oh my gosh, Benjamin, did you know that we were just featured on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver on HBO?
We on HBO, Juice?
Bro, we are literally on HBO. Everybody keeps texting me and sending me the clip.
Why are you serious, Juice? This is big. This is national. Everybody around the world is seeing this.
No, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna toot our horn a little bit. Toot, toot, because we are definitely national. But I mean, what else would you expect from us, okay?
This is crazy. My mom just texted me. My sister just texted me. My girl just texted me. My dog Hazel just texted me.
Listen, everybody I know is about to become a Juicy Jammer. So let them know how they can become one, Benjamin.
Make sure you tap into Jam with Juice each and every day from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Watch us live on YouTube or listen live in your car. We on 1017 The Truth.
Yeah, we are national. Now that's juicy.
It's amazing.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Let's give a few examples of how marketing can influence our preferences and our tastes. Could be in people. Could even influence our distaste in people. When I saw that Angel Sanchez, a former Milwaukee alderman, who is I'm pretty sure he's Mexican. When he's a Republican and a Trumper. When he referred to Kamala Harris as Guatemala Kamala or Guatemala Harris, referencing that she, the border czar, has totally failed in preventing migrants from coming here. Seeing that come from a man who is of obvious Mexican descent is just like mind-blowing to me. How if we can position a candidate to people in a certain way and describe a candidate in a certain way, you will prefer that candidate and their brand of politics over supporting your own heritage. And marketing is very, very powerful. Even gave examples of how if people were drinking 7-Up and 7-Up changes the label, changes the can, changes the bottle. If they add a little bit more yellow, the color yellow to the bottle, to the can of 7-Up, people will literally report that they taste more lemon and therefore will be turned off by 7-Up because they think that they're changing the formula. In the Pepsi Challenge, which was very popular back in the 80s, people always said that Coca-Cola tasted better even when they were given 2 samples of Pepsi because of the way Coca-Cola has perfected marketing. Coca-Cola markets so good that it's not even about the soda. The most popular commercials, I think these commercials, those and the Budweiser Clydesdales, which I'm not even sure Budweiser advertises with the Clydesdales anymore, but they used to be like this ubiquitous staple of Budweiser marketing, the big old Clydesdale horses. What the hell a Clydesdale horse has to do with beer? And Budweiser's disgusting. Let's be clear about that too. Let me put that out there. But how they combine the imagery, like when you think of a Clydesdale horse, at least someone of my generation, you think of, oh, Budweiser beer. Those are popular commercials. But the most popular commercials, do you guys know about the polar bears? Right around the holidays, you don't really see these commercials any other time of year. But Coca-Cola has got a bunch of polar bears drinking bottles of Coke. What the hell does that have to do with anything related to the taste of a carbonated soft drink made with a cola nut? It doesn't. But Coca-Cola is so good at how they market and how they present their product, it doesn't even matter how it tastes. If they just present it to you in a way that gives you the warm and fuzzy feelings of an incredible holiday where there's family and where there's tradition, people will always prefer Coca-Cola. If you look at how the climate has been changing because of global warming, which is man-made, and we have to look at agriculture differently, where California may not be able to grow as many and employ as many people in the avocado industry, or almonds are grown in California because avocados and almonds both need a tremendous amount of water to grow. And because the climate is changing and droughts are more prevalent, not just in Southern California, but even in Northern California, because the article that I was referencing were individuals from Sacramento, California. So the drought and the climate change is not just Southern Cal. It's going all the way up to the northern part of California. Well, if we have to change the products or the crops and the commodities that we grow because we have to be responsive to climate change, well, what is something that we can grow that can flourish with less rain and in more prevalent drought conditions? How about agave? What the hell do we do with agave? Make agave syrup, which none of you have probably had. Don't worry. I guarantee you it's going to be a period of time before they say agave syrup is a healthier sweetener than sugar, than high fructose corn syrup, and you'll be flavoring your food with agave syrup, I'm sure, because it comes from that cactus. Well, if agave can grow with very little water, and you can use agave to make tequila, well, let's grow a bunch of agave. But people in America don't like tequila. People in America drink vodka and they drink whiskey, especially whiskey, because whiskey is an American spirit, tried and true, you see. We have been distilling whiskey in this country since probably the 18th century, if not before that. Well, what if we just market the tequila? We get a bunch of celebrities, and what if we influence the hip-hop generation? And maybe we pay a couple of artists to have a couple of lines and a couple of lyrics about tequila. We probably will be able to sell a lot of it with this plant, agave, that can grow in drought conditions, as droughts are going to become much more prevalent. Eureka. I'll even do another one. I probably could do a whole show on the chicken wing. What is it about the chicken wing that has just delighted so many a person? It's not even like it's a lot of meat on a chicken wing. If you want to eat chicken, get a chicken breast, get a tender, go to Raising Cane's, get some chicken. But people have a fascination with the chicken wing. They say the popular chicken wing got its start in Buffalo, New York, therefore the term Buffalo Wings. Or even the franchise Buffalo Wild Wings. But chicken wings, we have to admit, are very, very popular. I'll even see people inquiring who's got the best wings in the city. And I've even engaged in such conversations about the chicken wing. And chicken wing is very popular. The chicken wing comes in many a flavor. You can just get it in regular chicken wing flavor, I guess, fried. I suppose you can bake your chicken wing. You can grill your chicken wing. Buffalo your chicken wing, barbecue sauce on your chicken wing, whatever. Fairly recently, and this is the connection with mentioning products and mentioning flavors and how it can impact taste. Y'all was not eating lemon pepper chicken wings before Rick Ross. Stop lying. No, you were not. I've been around since the 1970s. Only time I think I ever had lemon pepper on anything was seafood, like fish. But Rick Ross talks about lemon pepper wings, and now black folks only want to eat lemon pepper wings. It is just fascinating to me. And when you see the phenomenon that is constant marketing, and if you put it in the culture, if you put something in the music, you can, listen to me now, you can get people to buy anything. If agave grows well in drought conditions, and we're going to have more droughts in the United States, then make a bunch of tequila. Even if it's disgusting tequila, put a celebrity onto it. Talk about it in hip-hop music. Make it be a part of the culture, and people will swear by it. Here's an article by Carrie Allen that appeared in the Washington Post, and there's tons of information on just how tequila has exploded out of nowhere. That's because it grows in drought, and we get less rain because of climate change. She says, I'm staring at two bottles that represent a tension in the heart of tequila. One is from Casamigos, a brand founded by actor George Clooney, an entrepreneur, and ex-Rolex model Randy Gerber and businessman Mike Meldman, which they sold to spirits giant Diego in 2017 for how much? $1 billion. Casamigos is probably one of the most subpar brands of tequila that exists. But because it was marketed by George Clooney and Randy Gerber, they sold it to another company, a spirits giant called Diego, which I've never heard of before, was sold for $1 billion. That's crazy. All right, let me see what we got for text messages. 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Oh, look, it's Slave Cap Guy. Vince, I'm sure you've heard the conversation. We're talking about tequila. And thank you so very much for the delectable bottles of 1942, which I suppose for tequila, it wasn't excruciating to drink, but it's still made out of cactus. It's cactus juice. Vince says Casamigos and Patron are both trash. Patron is absolutely disgusting. In fact, I've always just been averse to tequila because it tastes too much like, I don't want to taste alcohol. I'm not one of those, boy, that sure tastes delicious. No, alcohol is gross. It tastes like poison because it is. I don't even drink margaritas, y'all. I don't drink margaritas because they're made with tequila. I can't get over it. The only margarita that I like, because really a virgin margarita is just like a slushie. That's good because it's frothy. It's like a Slurpee that you get out of the Slurpee machine. That's what a margarita with no tequila is in it. Craig says Sherwin Wingstop has the best lemon pepper wings. But were people ordering? So when did Rick Ross? He probably came out in 07, 06. And then he bought a bunch of franchises of Wingstops, I'm sure. And that was his favorite flavor, lemon pepper. But just you hear it, the references. Oh, I got y'all got lemon pepper. I want lemon pepper on my wings. If you just market stuff and just talk about it enough and discuss it enough, especially if it's from a celebrity, it will become a part of popular culture. Donald Trump, I think, has become the same way. It's not even about what Donald Trump says. I think it's what it says about the people that support him. He is for the unhappy. He is for the negative. He is for the pessimistic. He is for the people that feel like they're not getting a fair shake in the world. Something is wrong. Things are not going according to plan. Maybe it's the migrants. Yeah, let's blame the migrants. And then Donald Trump comes in right on time and says, yep, they're the reason why you don't have a job. They're the reason why the demographics of the United States are changing. And then another thing that I don't like is they're looking at, these individual, very sad circumstances where someone who's not supposed to be in the country commits a very violent crime. And then they will take that family who has been victimized by that person who wasn't supposed to be in the country. Really horrible, horrible things that have happened. Some of the people that were in the country illegally that committed a violent crime. And not only did they say that the crisis at the border is going to create more of that kind of violence, they blame Kamala Harris like it was her fault single-handedly that one particular person that committed that particular crime against this particular family, it is her fault entirely. Therefore, she would be a bad president because the random nature of violent crime that a migrant, someone who wasn't supposed to be in the country, got over here and then committed a very heinous act. Even if Kamala Harris did a perfect job of being the border czar, which she never was because that's a position that's never even existed, how could Kamala Harris stop that one person from committing that one crime against that one family that is now featured in a Donald Trump ad? But it works. And why Trump is so dangerous is because he is the master marketer. I gave y'all examples of how tequila has become more popular, how people love their wings to be lemon peppered, how you can stereotype a human being that you've never met before. You never met someone of their race, their culture, their ethnicity. But because the brain looks at past experiences and can be manipulated by that, you can literally inform people about everything if you just market things the right way. I would argue that African Americans have a really negative perception. We are the welfare mothers. We are the criminals. We are the thugs. It has nothing to do with a system that exists in America that has always sought to keep African American progress subdued. It clearly must be us. We must be the bad people. Therefore, people are afraid of us. Our neighborhoods are always the bad ones. Whenever you ask somebody, just do a little random survey of your own. Just find a normal person. Find one of your coworkers or your colleagues or just somebody you meet on the street or someone you're having casual conversation with and just ask them, where's a bad neighborhood in Milwaukee? And I assure you that they know. They'll be able to tell you with great specificity where the bad neighborhoods are. Why is it always where we live? And rarely will they say, like a near South Side neighborhood, well, there's crime on a near South Side too. It's always the black neighborhood. Because how things are presented to us, how things are marketed to us, how we are bombarded with certain information informs our understanding of these things. Craig says, wings over Milwaukee aren't cooked enough, and the seasoning is okay. Buffalo Wild Wings doesn't use enough rub or seasoning on the wings. Wingstop lemon pepper wings are the best tasting, he says. I'm not even trying to have a conversation about chicken wings because I know if I have that conversation, that's going to totally take over the show. All I'm saying is how things are marketed to us impact our tastes and our selections. But here's the rub, though. Literally and figuratively, we think that we're making our own independent decisions. We're not. Even when compared with Pepsi, Coca-Cola always tastes better. Even when someone is drinking Pepsi, they're still going to say that Coke tastes better. All you got to do is just bombard people with the information, and they're going to believe it. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Noni Juice, and I am Milwaukee. The city of Milwaukee resonates with me deeply, not only because I was born and raised here and have beautiful memories, but because, much like myself, this city thrives on resilience and perseverance, often surprising those who overlook it. It was here where my journey started, and I learned to create my own opportunities. And I want our listeners to know that they have the power to do the same. So join me on Jammin' with Juice from 12 to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers on 1017 The Truth.
There are individuals in our community who certainly need health services, a variety of health services. What if they do not have health insurance? How can you serve that population?
Our community health center allows patients to come to our clinic regardless of their ability to pay, and that's part of our federal funding. You can come to our clinic and be seen based on what we call a poverty level. So anyone 200% or below a poverty level can be seen in our clinic for anywhere from $20 to $40 for that visit. So in other words, if your visit is a $400 visit and you fall on our sliding scale where you pay $20 for your visit, you would not be responsible for the $400. You'd only be responsible for $20 for that visit. Also, our pharmacy prescriptions are very, very affordable as well. Where you would normally pay, let's say for an inhaler, $240 a month for an inhaler, at our facility that would cost you about $4 or $5.
It's very good to know you guys have a sliding scale that makes it very, very affordable.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Get your tickets now to the Milwaukee Gala that helps empower communities and change lives. Join us at the new rooftop ballroom of the Baird Center for Greater Milwaukee Urban League's Black and White Ball, celebrating legacy and impact. It's all happening on Saturday, November 2nd, with entertainment by Shantae Moore. This event will sell out. Get your ticket and sponsorship information now at tmul.org and click on the Black and White Ball link. That is tmul.org.
My name is Adrienne, and I was hurt in a car accident. What Gruber Law Office has done for me was made me feel safe. It didn't cost me anything, just one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The 2024 presidential election is 57 days away, and to help you make an informed decision on our country's next leader, we will be broadcasting the U.S. presidential debate tomorrow, starting at 8 p.m. Again, that is the presidential debate between Vice President Guatemala Kamala and former President Donald Trump. It's going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, September 10th at 8 p.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk. I'll be giving more of a preview of the debate tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a list of topics. And I'll set the expectations, I suppose. The expectations for Trump are likely going to be very low because he just fabricates and rambles on and on and on. If Donald Trump stays on message and on target for an hour or an hour and a half, however long the debate is, people are going to say that he won. I wouldn't want to be Kamala Harris in tomorrow's debate because the expectations on her are very, very high. The last time we saw a presidential debate was the one in which Joe Biden performed so poorly, he was forced out of the race. And so if Kamala Harris is now the Democratic nominee, and she's had a tremendous amount of support, she's raised over $500 million and hundreds of thousands, if not by now, 1 million new volunteers because she's entered the race. And there's the historical aspect of it as well. Woman of color, Southeast Asian, father is Jamaican, right? All of these things. she has to perform well to not just earn all the accolades that have been bestowed upon her, but just to show that she is the right person for the job, regardless of the history-making aspect of it, the fact that she's a woman and a woman of color, et cetera, to justify how she has been given $500+ million in donations and hundreds of thousands, if not a million new volunteers. She must perform well to earn all of those things that she has been given. They've also been very, I don't want to call it disingenuous, but they've really made a big deal about how little she talks to the media. She hasn't really sat down for a lot of interviews. And when she did sit down for an interview, the first one since she was crowned the Democratic nominee was last week. And it was with her running mate, Tim Walz. And for those who were critics of her and how little she has done these interviews, they weren't satisfied with that either. I can understand why she doesn't want to do interviews. She doesn't need to. If you want to know about her policy positions, you can research them. You can look them up. She's been the vice president of the United States for the last 4 years. She's not a stranger. But I know what the media is seeking to do. They're trying to get her in a gotcha moment. They're trying to unravel her where they can get her looking either stereotypically black or make her look like she's unprepared, or maybe show her in a moment that is too emotional. Then people will say, see, that's why we can't vote for a woman. Ladies and gentlemen, most people's minds are made up. The only people that we have to convince are people that don't usually vote. Even the people that don't vote, the folks that have never voted before. Let me give you an example. Our own resident non-voter, Dion the non-voter. He's such a non-voter that we made it a part of his name. Now, he says he's going to register and vote. And he says when he does that, he's going to vote for Kamala Harris. So even people that don't traditionally vote have their minds made up about which candidate they're going to select. But there's nobody who's like, let me watch the debate and see how they flesh out the issues before I make my decision. This debate is just theater and it's entertainment for all of us. That's what it is. There's not a single person, I'm going to stand on that. There's not a single person in this country who's like, well, let me see how articulate they are when it comes to the issues that matter most to me and my family. The issues have been plainly articulated by the political parties themselves, at the conventions themselves, and in the advertising, either the ads for the candidates themselves, the negative ads against the candidates, or third-party groups that are spending, this will be a $10 billion election if it's a penny. You know what the issues are. There have been polls. There have been focus groups. They're literally asking the American people every single day, what are the top issues? We know what the issues are, and we know where the candidates are on all of them. Donald Trump wants to build a wall, wants to send migrants back, wants to put huge tariffs on anything that's made in another country. Donald Trump wants to, dissolve United States involvement with NATO. United States wants to let Benjamin Netanyahu destroy Palestine. We know where they are on the issues. Kamala Harris wants to protect the Affordable Care Act, wants to protect a woman's right to her own reproductive freedom, wants to forgive student loans, wants to build more infrastructure, wants to hire more people. She wants to build the middle class. It's easy. Anybody that says they don't know the issues had their heads buried in the sand. But even if you had your head buried in the sand, there's been so much political activity that you would even hear the political ads if your head was buried in the sand. I watch a lot of YouTube because YouTube is literally everything you can imagine. Anything you're interested in, there's a movie or a documentary or a clip or a short relating to whatever you may be interested in. I'm not kidding you. This is not an exaggeration. This is not hyperbole. Every time I play a YouTube video, it is a Kamala Harris or Donald Trump ad. I miss seeing ads for Chevrolet or for Breitling watches, or for Coca-Cola, or for Pepsi, or for Casamigos disgusting tequila. I don't even see those ads anymore. All I see is a Trump ad or a Kamala Harris ad. That's all I see. I'm tired of it now. Getting sick of it. Let's talk to someone I'm not sick of. Hello, Linda. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning, Professor. Good morning, good Pomegranate, and good morning to Truth Nation and all the good black and white people in Milwaukee. I'm talking to a staff at Trans Witness, but I was listening to your conversation.
Linda, hold on, wait. Who is in the background cackling? Who is that?
That's the staff. That's Trans Fitness staff. We got our joke, in-house joke. But listen, you were talking about the boom and the tequila. I like tequila. Socially I drink it every now and once, like 1 or 2 shots. But I like sangria. And what else I like? That's it.
Okay.
But I'm afraid of liquor because of the images and the things that I've witnessed that liquor does to a person's body and mind. But people are moving away. I'm surprised at these stats that you're saying because I'm hearing about the shroom boom and the mushroom that's in coffee, that's in drinks now with Riza, with Kabbalah. Savanna, something like that. Anyway, people are tapping into that, and guess what? Last weekend, you watched the History Channel. I noticed that in National Geography, but because I heard you talking about that one time, and I raised my sons on it too. But they were talking about this mushroom, this shroom boom, and they were saying that it is such a boom that people are preparing for the market for it in the next 5 years. They're already cultivating the mushroom for the psilocybin type of products that comes out of there that everybody likes. And the main ingredient of the mushroom is the lion's mane, which you can buy at the food stores, GNC and stuff like that. I buy it myself. But a lot of people want that happy, feel-good feeling without the addiction, without the side effects and all of that. So that's why mushrooms has become so, prevalent and important and significant, and people are choosing it because they don't want the alcoholism that comes from.
Are you talking about the there's a whole bunch of different kinds of mushrooms, and for me, mushrooms belong on burgers and they belong on pizza. Are you talking about the psilocybin, the active psychoactive drug that is found in magic mushrooms? Okay.
Yes, and guess what? It's going to it's going to put a dent in the liquor market. It's going to put a dent in these prescriptions that these psychiatrists and psychologists put people on. It's gonna definitely change a lot of things going forward. Huh?
No, it's not. I think that
you don't think so?
No, God, no. So psilocybin, literally, I'm sure you talked to a whole bunch of people, Linda, but the people you talk to don't mean it's going to be some kind of a mushroom boom. Let's be clear about psilocybin. It literally poisons the human body. Now, in smaller doses, the poison might feel like yes, it's literally poison. It mimics schizophrenia. When somebody trips on LSD, which is the laboratory created psychoactive component, psilocybin is more of a natural psychoactive component that causes hallucinations. You feel that way because your body is being poisoned. But if you lessen the poison, there can be some positive effects. Just like botulinum toxin. Do you know that Botox is so damn poisonous that when they measure it, they have to measure it in an amount that's smaller than like a microgram because of how poisonous it is. But in a small amount, what does it do? It makes you look younger. Psilocybin and the magic in mushrooms is literally, it's poison. And it's a controlled substance.
I didn't know that. And they never talk about that. But they never talk about that. Even when I called the Aurora mental health facility and I talked to a physician there, and they never mentioned that it's poisonous to the body, but that it's an alternative to therapy because hey. Therapy is expensive.
Linda, if a doctor was, hang on a second, Linda, if a doctor was recommending a psilocybin mushroom, that's not a legitimate doctor. Because it's not
They don't recommend it.
It's not anything that can be prescribed because it's very much a controlled substance. Marijuana will be illegal before mushrooms will be.
Because I'm telling you, I when I talk to my doctors, I talk about everything. From cannabis to mushrooms to prescription drugs, because I want to know I want to be informed so that I can make decisions based on what my preference is. Now, like I said, I don't prefer liquor, but I do like wine. I like sangria. I like tequila every now and then, but I control my habit. And a lot of things that you were talking about was social behavior, where I used to teach my students, don't follow the crowd and don't believe the hype. And that's what a lot of black people, especially in Milwaukee, I can't stand it. They follow the crowd and they believe the hype. Come on, y'all. Y'all can think for yourself, and you got your own individual identity, personality. And like I told my students, make your own path and leave a trail of good deeds. That's all. Right. Don't follow the crowd. Okay?
Sound advice, Linda, but I got to go now. Thank you for your sound advice. All right, then. Linda just like to get high. That's what it is. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. This show will get you high on life and high on information and fact. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Milwaukee Public Schools is getting ready to welcome students back to the classroom. The first day of school is September 3rd for all MPS students, and if you haven't enrolled your child yet, now is the time. They offer a wide array of school options to meet the unique needs of your child. Go to mpsmke.com/enroll MPS for more information. You're always welcome to visit MPS Student Services Building at 5225 West Valete Street for help with enrolling. Stop in between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Thank you for choosing Milwaukee Public Schools.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
Breaking news, Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office is investigating the death of 43-year-old Devontae L. Mitchell outside of the Hyatt Regency on Sunday as a homicide. Breaking news, a Milwaukee mother is speaking out after her 17-year-old daughter, Amira Wallace, was shot and killed at Milwaukee's Deneen Park. This happened just after midnight on July 22nd. Breaking news, according to a sheriff's office report, Sean Grayson said he shot Sonia Massey after fearing she would throw boiling water at him, which would have caused great bodily harm or death. Breaking news, body cam video shows fatal police shooting of 4-year-old Illinois boy and man holding him hostage. Police responding to a domestic violence call shot a 4-year-old named Terrell Marshawn Miller and his mother's boyfriend. Now that I have your attention, these are families that are more than just a news story. These are families who are hurting. These are families that are searching for justice. As a community, it's our duty to get involved and make sure we do our part to make sure that these families receive the justice that they're searching for. Today, it's their families in the news. Tomorrow is yours. This is why it's important for us to make sure that we stay on the front lines and make sure that we do our part to help change what's going on in our neighborhood. Whether it's police brutality, whether it's senseless violence, whether it's human trafficking, we all can do our part and help each and every family that's affected negatively in our communities get justice.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app,
and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. To your point, Linda, and I would agree, people should relish their individuality, not follow the crowd, right? Do your own thing. Be independent, be unique. That's hard. And it's easier said than done, because if you are independent, don't follow the crowd, and remain unique, people will label you as crazy. Peer pressure is real. Human beings want to belong to something. All of us do. Even if you are a unique person, you're an individual and you love your individuality, even individuals want to feel a part of something. And so we will gravitate toward what is popular because it makes us feel like we are part of a community. Peer pressure is real and it never goes away. We have people that we look up to, people that we admire, people that we respect. And don't you want to know what those people are doing and how they do it? Because you look up to them, you respect those people, you admire those people. So emulating what they do makes you feel a part of them, makes you feel a part of a community, makes you feel a part of a culture. Black folks do it all the time. We maintain our community and our culture by doing what black folks do, including eating catfish. You guys know how I feel about catfish. Catfish is only good because it's fried, because nobody eats boiled or baked catfish. No one does. You have to fry it, but frying anything makes it good. I probably should look up the history on how black people have become so attached to catfish, because I'm not aware of any other cultures that swear by catfish the way we do. It probably has something to do with the South and slavery and it was an undesirable fish. I don't know what it was, but it probably has one of those kind of histories. Let's talk to Bob here on 1017 The Truth.
Sherwin, how you doing? I tried to lay back and listen to you today. You aggravated me again. I'm telling you the truth.
That's because you're a grumpy old man, sir. I'd imagine everything aggravates you. I bet you even hate sunny days.
I'm not grumpy.
Okay.
Now, Kamala Harris.
Oh, God.
Is married to a white.
Okay.
Which is okay. That's what she wanted. She picked a white man to be her running mate.
Uh-huh.
What does she need to do? She does not have to be great. She just could be okay. That's all she got to be, because he's going to be an idiot no matter which way you turn. She does not have to be great. No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
She could be okay. And,
Bob,
Bob,
before you go on, I want to hold on, Bob. Before you go on, I want to address something that you said. We are not in a place in America where somebody black can be just okay and be accepted by white people and by white voters. Black people still, to this day, Bob, we don't have the luxury of being just okay. We can't be lazy. We can't be mediocre. We have to be stellar. We are not at a place where we can be okay. She still needs to outperform and overperform, not just Donald Trump, but people's expectations of a woman and of a black woman. So she does have to be much more than okay. Any black person in this country right now has to be more than okay. We always got to overperform and overdeliver.
Two things, sure. Two things sure win. Two things.
Mm-hmm.
She's done everything a human being can do except put some bleach on her face and turn white. That's number one. She's talked about good policies and everything. That's all in it. And the second point is, Sherman.
But Bob, you're already convinced, though. She doesn't need to overperform for you because you already are going to support her. We're talking about the people that still discredit her because she's a woman, because she's black. Those are the folks she needs to overperform for, not you or me. I'm content with her as is.
Shirley, the second point, since you interrupted me, try and watch your step until the fifth, or whatever the election, because you say some things that just don't make sense. She can't do it. She's a human being. She can't do any more except put some bleach on her face and turn white. My goodness. Watch your step until the election. And I'll talk to you later.
Bob, go take your medication and get a nap in. And you need some rest now. You need to get some sleep. What's wrong with this man? All right. LT says nobody asked for rum and Pepsi. But if you drink a rum and Coke, LT, and they don't have Coke, people that drink a rum and Coke will drink a rum and Pepsi. They'll say, oh, no, I want a totally different drink if you don't have Coca-Cola. Because when you mix it with rum, it doesn't even really matter. I used to drink rum and Coke. Even before that, I used to drink. My alcohol tastes have evolved. I used to drink brandy. Brandy, can't stand it. It's disgusting. I used to drink Corbel. Hate it. It's gross. Then somebody turned me on to like a real fancy kind of brandy called, it's real expensive. Or was it rum? I don't know. It's all yuck. It's disgusting. If I'm going to consume alcohol, I want to drink alcohol that doesn't taste like alcohol. Tequila, and Antoine is over here getting mad at me. He always gets mad at me when I talk about tequila. People take it personal. Those people that love tequila, they get mad that I don't like tequila. Do you guys know that there are just certain drinks and certain foods that some people just don't like? Our tastes are averse to certain things. Tequila is nasty. But to someone that loves it, they can't even imagine what universe exists where someone doesn't love tequila. It tastes like cactus juice. It's awful. So here's another one. I can't understand these people. I would like to, if I could make all of the illegal Mexican citizens and get rid of this one specific group of people, I'd do it in a second. I would give amnesty and citizenship and social security numbers to all the illegals if I can get rid of this one particular group of people, because they are a stain on American society. You know who they are? People that drink pickle juice. You know who I'm talking about? Let me be abundantly clear to you monsters. If you're the kind of person that drinks pickle juice out of the jar, I wish we could enslave you. I wish we could bring back slavery for those that it's vinegar. It's so disgusting. Pickles I only can take in small quantity and slices on something where their flavor is subdued. Like, I'm not a person, and go get a jar of pickles and sit down and watch a movie with a jar of pickles. I don't think you're human. You're an alien. You don't have human blood in you. You're a monster from Mars. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Join the Truth Street team sponsored by UW Credit Union Saturday, September 14th for the Black and Brown Run Around 5K at Veterans Park in partnership with Lead to Change. The Black and Brown Run Around welcomes all runners, walkers, and families to enjoy this incredible community event at the lakefront. They will have food, entertainment, and an opportunity to support and uplift Black and Brown business in the greater Milwaukee area. So mark your calendars and join us on Saturday, September 14th for the Black and Brown Run Around 5K at Veterans Park in downtown Milwaukee on the lakefront.
Ring in the changing of the seasons with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra when it presents When the Saints Go Marching In, September 20th through the 22nd at the Bradley Symphony Center. The MSO and its newly appointed principal pops conductor Byron Stripling will be joined on stage by Broadway star Crystal Monet Hall, organist Bobby Floyd, and drummer Jim Rupp for a musical journey through the roots of the blues with songs like Alexander's Ragtime Band, St. Louis Blues, Sweet Georgia Brown, and so many others. Visit MSO.org to reserve your best seats now or call the box office at 414-291-7605. Come and experience some of the most iconic hits to come out of New Orleans and the Jazz Age with When the Saints Go Marching In, running September 20th through the 22nd only. The number again for tickets is 414-291-7605 or online at MSO.org.
we're here.
You brought me to a cornfield to see a scarecrow?
Well, the mortgage lender said the money for our home is in Scarecrow.
I think they said escrow.
Oh.
There's a lot to learn when buying your first home. That's why UW Credit Union offers home loans with local expertise and a lowest closing cost commitment to make the journey easy. UW Credit Union. Apply today. Equal housing lender.
Connie's Compassionate Care is a Wisconsin Medicaid Badger Care Plus benefit program designed to help pregnant women retain the support and services needed to have a healthy baby. From medical appointments, transportation, and health education support. So, if you or anyone you know can benefit from our agency, call 414-550-7521 to speak with Lasagna. Connie's Compassionate Care has got you covered.
After an accident, don't wait to get the help you need. Call Gruber Law Offices first. There is no fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The other weird combination is, I think I see it more with older African Americans, is when they have catfish. And they make it at home usually because this combination does not exist in restaurants. Don't y'all find it unusual that catfish is oftentimes served with spaghetti? Does not make a lick of sense. These are flavors that are just so opposite to one another. How honest. I remember growing up, my mother would fry catfish and then make some spaghetti. And you ate it like it was a side. Like you'd have coleslaw and you might have other sides with catfish, but it was spaghetti that was a favorite, I guess, or a staple with catfish. And that's, you know why it was? Because Italian immigrants settled in the Mississippi Delta. That's it. And the black folks were like, hey, Italians, how are you? And the Italians like, have you ever had the spaghetti? And black folks were like, we have not. Our history of catfish goes back to West Africa, so that explains some of it. But the spaghetti part was added because of the mixing of cultures in the Mississippi Delta when Italian immigrants settled in Mississippi alongside African Americans, and they began to share culinary recipes. But it's weird because Italians don't eat catfish, though, but will combine spaghetti, which was introduced to us by the Italians that settled in the Mississippi Delta in the 1800s. So, yeah, that we combine the two, which it's still weird to me if I see catfish and spaghetti on the same plate. I'm just like, that's something a pregnant woman would want. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I want some spaghetti with my catfish. It doesn't even make any damn sense. Let's talk to the caller. You're on 1017 The Truth.
Well, I have a challenge for you, sir.
I'll bet you.
Maybe you don't understand what blackened catfish is. That is usually cooked on a grill, not a barbecue grill, but a traditional grill that you'll have at a restaurant.
Yeah, it's burnt.
And so, if you want to,
it's blackened.
If you want to have blackened or grilled Cajun seasoned catfish,
no,
Daddy Soul Food in the Marquette University area does have that, and maybe you can have that, Uber Eats sent to you in Savanna one day, who is aware that catfish can be prepared wonderfully, and for people who haven't ruined their taste buds with things like Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
The caller, I think you're missing the point. So you're just talking of another way in which catfish, you have to do something like blackening catfish and having Cajun catfish. It's the same point as frying it. You're masking the flavor of the fish itself. I like lightly, delicately flavored fish. I don't like overly fishy stuff because that's just gross to me. Just like with alcohol,
Well,
I don't like
then
the
you
taste
probably
of
don't
alcohol.
like perch at all, do you? You don't like perch at all, do you?
I mean, if it's fried, quite honestly, my preferred fish is the one that has almost no taste, which is cod. No flavor to it. Or like grouper. Grouper is good.
That speaks of the damage that Sweet Baby Ray's can do to your taste buds. But I digress. I do want to talk about Linda's point about individuality and your point of being a part of a group. Roger Mosley, in a film with Max Julian, I won't name it. You should know the name. You want to name it? Go ahead. Yeah, the Max. Talked about how we as black people need to work within the overall society. You may remember this scene, but without being dependent upon the outer society. And that is, I think, just as an individual, that is a good philosophy of living life. You don't have to do everything that your group does, to speak to Linda's point. You should always remain an individual in any endeavor and stick to what your true beliefs are and what your morals are. And I think that, that way you have no regrets. If you're following someone to the extent of where you're changing your behavior and your lifestyle because you're a part of a group, that's similar to the fascism that the Make America Confederate Party is now promoting. So I'm looking forward to the debate tomorrow. I think she will destroy him if he doesn't listen to his advisors, which how many times has he done that? This is a man who told us to inject bleach, right?
Yes, he has, among other things. Yeah.
Okay. Just that alone should disqualify you, from running for dog catcher, So I'm looking forward to the convict having to answer to the former district attorney, and our soon-to-be president, my brother.
All right. I appreciate your call.
Try the catfish at Daddy's.
No, but thank you for the suggestion. So counter to his point, you got to be an individual, you see, and you got to go your own way. And I agree with that. But as soon as I say I don't like catfish, somebody like him gets mad. That's me being an individual saying that I don't like something that has been, not thrown in our culture, but just maintained arbitrarily. My tastes are diverse and worldly because I've tasted so many other kinds of food and so many other kinds of cuisine, and I can appreciate new flavors because black folks don't often eat Thai food or Indian food. Now, some do, but some of us are just so stuck in our traditional ways, and I say that because look at the traditional food that most black restaurants serve. There's not a whole hell of a lot of variation. But I would argue when black people make Italian food, our spaghetti is better than Italian spaghetti. Our lasagna is better than an Italian person's lasagna. We have the capacity to reimagine other types of ethnic cuisine, but we just don't do it because our people are so stuck in the ways of our cuisine, because that's how we build and recreate culture, especially when we think our culture is threatened from without. But if you're a black person that have unique taste, you're ostracized, people want to know what's wrong with you. How come you like something that I don't like? Because we don't oftentimes want to see or admit or appreciate the differences that exist amongst African Americans. You know what I'm saying? So catfish is fine if you fry it. Is it my first choice? No. Is it my second choice? If it's my only option, I'd rather have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm just saying. And of course, the caller is averse to my affinity for Sweet Baby Ray's sweet Vidalia onion barbecue sauce. Something else that's ubiquitous in just American cuisine. And we do this over here, and other countries don't do it, and they think it's weird. We combine sweet and savory. Happens all the time. Why in the hell do you think people eat chicken and waffles? Because the syrup is sweet and the chicken is savory. Why in the hell do you think people eat peanut butter and jelly? On its face, that's a stupid sandwich. That is two spreads that should never have ever had sex with each other. But for some reason, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or even chocolate and peanut butter, we combine sweet and savory. That's like an American taste bud cornerstone, but other countries think we're weird for doing it because a lot of countries don't find it flavorful. Thank you, guys. Go have a shot of tequila. I'll see you next time.
Friday Night Lights officially lives here. 1017 The Truth is the proud home of